welcome back to my channel. Today is the day before my day 1 of step 3, and I decided to check into a hotel for step 3 because they're booked one day apart, and I just really wanted to have a total focus and to just be, in the right mindset to take and crush these exams. So I just wanted to do a quick check-in. I don't know if I'll do one tomorrow after my exam, but basically I have given it my all in terms of studying, and with the time that I do have in between work and all the other things. And so I just really want to get this over with, and yeah, I'll keep you posted. And I will continue to make videos after my exams are over, and also after the match results come out. So that's also coming up soon too. So yeah, that's all I have for now. I will check in with you again in the next clip. Bye. Good morning, everyone. It's 6:08. I'm supposed to be at the testing center anytime between 6:30 to 7. I'm already outside, so I think I'm gonna go in around 6:45-ish, doing some last minute cramming, as well as just decompressing and having a little bit of breakfast. I went to Starbucks prior to coming here, and I got myself a matcha latte and grilled cheese sandwich, and I also have a sandwich for lunch. So yeah, I guess this is it, day 1. All right, see you in the next one. Bye. All right, hi y'all, just finished day 1. Ended much earlier than I thought I would, mostly because I started earlier, I think by about 30 minutes earlier than my scheduled time. And I also didn't take all of my 45 minutes scheduled break. I just didn't really need it. I powered through. It was only 6 question blocks. There was a tutorial block that was 5 minutes long that you could skip, and that 5 minutes would be added to your break time if you skipped it. So that's what I did. But I also used a little bit of that time to write down kind of the biostats formulas on my scratch paper thing. So all in all, I think it went okay. I feel just about the same as I felt after taking both step 1 and 2, maybe slightly better. Mostly because I already knew what was coming. And I was also thankful that I read the first aid for step 1, at least like the rapid review section. I feel like that really helped with a lot of the concepts that were tested today. So I am planning on reviewing a whole bunch of CCS cases in the time between now and my day 2, which is about a day and a half. So yeah, I'm just gonna go eat lunch with my husband, and then I'm gonna go back to the hotel and cram. So I'm gonna try to take it a little easier today than I'm gonna take it tomorrow, but yeah, definitely less nervous than I was yesterday, which is, I don't know if that's saying anything, but whatever. Day 1 is done, so I'll catch you in the next update. Peace. Oops, okay. Hello there. I am getting ready to pack up because I can't even see my face. Hold on. I'm just gonna hold the camera. So very quick update. Tomorrow is day 2. It's around 8:30 p.m. and I should already be trying to fall asleep at this point, but yeah, I will do that in about 5 minutes. I'm just gonna clean up and pack up and be ready for tomorrow. So yeah, here we go, day 2. See ya, bye. Good morning, everyone. It is 6:01. The sun hasn't risen yet, and it's kind of different from Friday or Saturday morning because the time changed by an hour. So yeah, I don't know what time the sun rises right now, but clearly as of right now it's still not up. So I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna eat my breakfast. I'm right in front of the testing center. Again, I have my chocolate croissant and I have my matcha latte, and I am ready for today. I actually got a decent night's sleep last night, so just gonna do some last minute cramming and last minute meditation, and yeah, let's get this day done. I'll check in again if I remember to at the end of today. So yeah, I guess I'll see you then. Bye. Hi y'all, I just finished. It's about 3:30, no, it's 3:18, and I finished about an hour early. That's because I kind of just like marathon through the CCS cases at the end, and I also finished some of the blocks early, the question blocks. And then apparently when the CCS cases end, they don't like take up the whole time if you get to the right management. So a lot of them finished really early for me, and it's kind of frustrating because like I put in the correct management, but then I realized, oh wait, I maybe should have put like more of the preventive stuff before it ended, because the preventive stuff took forever to put in and it was laggy. And yeah, I realized I probably should have like copied pasted my preventive care so that it's just easier for me, but I didn't end up doing that, and whatever, it's done. It's to be fair, today wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. It wasn't as bad as I felt during step 2, but it's about the same as I felt during step 1. And how I feel today about the questions too is about the same as I felt during day 1 of step 3. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know when the results will come out. They'll probably come out like in 2 or 3 weeks. But yeah, fingers crossed I pass. And hopefully I don't have to see this Prometric Center again until the future, when the next time I have to take a Prometric test. So I figured now would be like a perfect time to kind of reflect on my process of studying for step 3 before I find out my results. I don't know, it might just be interesting to compare how I feel about the exam now, right after taking the test, and then later once I get my results back. So I had started studying for this exam back in like October is when I started my UWorld, and then I finished UWorld in January because I wasn't taking it seriously until around December-ish. So about early to mid-December is when I seriously started studying for it. And then by the time it was mid-January, by the time it was early January, I was like, maybe I'm ready to take the exam, so I should look into scheduling it. And I really wanted to schedule it by February, early February, because I wanted to get my scores in before before rank was due, and clearly that didn't happen. But that was also because it was hard to find a schedule for my preferred Prometric center, and I didn't want to travel too far for this exam, so I figured fine, I'll just wait. And at that point I kind of was like giving up, not really giving up on the match for this cycle. So I was kind of okay, not giving up on the match for the cycle, but mostly it was like I didn't see the need to pressure myself to take this exam earlier if it wasn't going to yield the results that I wanted anyways, in terms of like getting more interviews, because at that point it was already like late into the interview season, and I was like, okay, fine, if I'm not gonna get any more interviews at this point, then I should just cut my losses, prepare really well for this exam, even if it would take like an extra month or so from when I initially wanted to take the exam, and then do really well on it, or do as well as I possibly can on it, and then just see where it goes, and in terms of like the match, and maybe if I have to apply again in the next cycle, then at least when I apply in the next cycle, I'll have a score for my step 3. This is assuming that I pass, of course. I'll find out in 2 weeks. Okay, so in terms of how I feel after the exam, I don't think I failed. I hope I didn't fail, but it didn't. Okay, it doesn't feel like I failed, because when I finished this exam compared to when I finished step 2, I just feel different. Maybe it's also because of my mental state at this point, and my mental state last year when I took step 2 was vastly different. I wasn't in a very good mental space last year while I was studying for step 2, but this year while studying for step 3, I'm in a much better emotional state, mental state, what have you, even though like I still have ups and downs here and there, especially with the residency application cycle, but in terms of my sleep for this exam, both days I was able to get pretty good rest. Today especially, I feel very well rested. And then in terms of the amount of time I had to study for this exam, I feel like I dedicated a good chunk of my time and did it more efficiently than I did when I was taking step 2. So overall, it just feels better. And then obviously while I'm taking the exam too, I wasn't as panicked as I was for step 2. I think it was just because like the pressure of doing well was so heavy when I was taking step 2, and that was obviously detrimental because I ended up not getting my target score for step 2. But now that that pressure is off for step 3, I think I did. Okay, I don't want to say that. I think I didn't fail. So I'm gonna leave it at that, and I will check back in hopefully in a couple weeks when I get my results back. And yeah, I will see you all in the next clip. Bye. So I forgot to talk about how the exam itself went. So on the first day, I was able to finish most of my blocks on time. There was only one block that I almost ran out of time on, and the rest I was able to share or spend at least 2 to 3 minutes, some even up to 5 minutes, going through the questions that I had marked. And then in terms of the number of questions I had marked, I probably marked about 6 to 7 or 5 to 7 questions per block. Some blocks obviously had a lot more questions that were like, what is going on? What are they asking here? But I felt like in general it was fairly straightforward. And then how I structured my blocks for day 1 was I would do 2 blocks back to back with just like a minute or so to just take a breath in between each block, and then do a bathroom break or a snack break, and then come back and then do the next 2 blocks like that as well, and then do the same thing, bathroom break, snack break, and then do the last 2 blocks and end. that's day one. And then, so I did the same pattern for the 6 blocks this morning for day 2. And then for the CCS cases, I did the first half of the cases all straight back to back, and I took a bathroom break, and then I did the same thing for the last half of the CCS cases. And with that, I was able to finish about an hour early. I used up most of my 45-minute allotted break prior to the CCS cases starting, because I saw on Reddit that the cases, if you end early, will add to your break time, and that was exactly what happened. So yeah, I finished my cases relatively early. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but I didn't kill any of the patients. There was only one case that I got that I was like, what is this? I can't figure it out. I've thrown every single test I could think of that makes sense to throw for this patient, but it just wouldn't, like, their symptoms wouldn't be resolved. And then they didn't deteriorate, thankfully, but they just, like, the case wouldn't end. And I was like, what is going on? But it's okay. The other cases were pretty straightforward, and I was able to figure out the diagnosis, got positive updates and all that stuff. It's just, I'm a little scared that maybe I jumped the gun or didn't order enough diagnostic tests to get like all the points. But as long as I didn't kill anyone, right? So anyways, yeah. I think that's my last update for today. I'm gonna go and eat lunch with my husband. All right, bye. Everyone, I just wanted to do a quick check-in. It's very loud outside. There's a protest going on, or it's more like a strike for UCLA employees, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. I am here to share some very good news. So I actually was able to get into a prelim surgery program in California. And so I'm so very happy that I get to stay in California. I'm also very happy that I got into at least a foot in the door into residency here in the United States. And I'm just glad that even though I have to go through that whole application process all over again, it's nice to feel wanted somewhere. And honestly, I'm gonna chuck this all to luck, really. A lot of this process is obviously very driven by, you know, a person's achievement, their connections, their scores, their background, what have you. But at some point, luck is really just what gets you through. And so, yeah, I don't really know what else to say. The last couple of weeks, I just didn't have the energy to vlog or share anything or record anything. Basically, the week before match week was right after I took my USMLE step 3. So I just, you know, went on with work as usual. I wasn't really expecting anything good to happen during match week. And then obviously the week after match week, I found out my results for my USMLE step 3. And it's just so surreal that, you know, things worked out. Of course, it didn't work out perfectly the way I wanted it to, but it still worked out, you know? And I'm happy to be going somewhere. I'm also very happy that I found an apartment already. And so me and my husband are going to co-sign the lease for that apartment. It's a very nice place. I'm gonna do an apartment tour once I settle in. And, you know, I was able to talk to my boss, figure out an end date for my current job. Currently, I'm working on some more research projects in and outside of my current employment. So yeah, is just wild to me. Like the past couple of weeks were like a hurricane whirlwind storm all into one. And I went through so many ups and downs in my emotions. I lost, I think, a lot of, I feel like I lost 5 pounds, but then I gained it all back in a span of like 2 weeks. And it's crazy. Like, I don't even have any words to say or share right now. But definitely I'm gonna continue vlogging. It's probably gonna be even more sparse than it's already been the past couple of months, especially once I start my intern year. But yeah, hopefully if you're watching this and you've seen kind of my journey for the past 1.5 years since I started this channel, you'll see how much work and effort that I really put into it, and hopefully you come along with me as I embark into a new journey, new challenges, of course. And hopefully if you're on this same path, you learn from my mistakes, or you learn from the things that I share with you. And I can't wait until this chapter of my life brings me that much closer to my dreams and my goals as a future doctor, and, you know, as just a human, as a person. And yeah, I think this is where I'm gonna end my vlog. I hope you enjoyed it so far, and I will see you in the next one. Please subscribe if you want to follow along to my journey, and leave a comment if you're so inclined. All right, bye.